Every summer, millions of us dedicate our evenings to watching conventionally attractive strangers lounge around a sun-drenched villa. It looks like a superficial facade, a mindless escape, or so it seems. But beneath the bikinis and the curated banter, there hides a ruthless arena, a high-stakes pressure cooker of game theory, emotional manipulation, and psychological warfare. What you are actually watching isn't just reality TV. It is a highly sophisticated, real-time psychological experiment. Welcome back to Learning with Pratik. If you're new here, I try to increase neuroplasticity by exploring a new topic every day. I do all the reading and researching so you don't have to. So today, we're deconstructing the staggering psychology behind a massive global phenomenon. We are going to dive into the brilliant and, honestly, sometimes brutal clinical mechanics of Love Island.
Chapter 1. The Illusion of Romance.
The whole formula for this experiment is elegantly simple, right? You isolate a group of young singles, cut them off entirely from the outside world, place them under constant, unrelenting video surveillance, and then you force them to couple up. If they don't, they face immediate elimination. But here's the fascinating part. This engineered pressure cooker has actually done something remarkable. It resurrected a supposedly dead medium. For Gen Z, a generation that basically grew up on on-demand streaming, this show uniquely revived appointment television. It's live, it's inherently social, and it's local. Viewing isn't just some passive thing you do alone on a couch anymore. It's an active communal event. People are literally turning local pubs and living rooms into pop-up fan hubs every single night.
And this communal viewing triggers a pretty wild psychological process called emotional contagion. Basically, when you gather with friends to watch, you literally catch the emotions of those around you. The tension on the screen, it becomes the tension in the room. The show is absolutely brilliant at leveraging parasocial relationships. You know, that powerful, one-sided bond where you genuinely feel like you personally know these contestants. You get invested in their daily routines, their little conversational tics, their perceived authenticity. Blend that intense parasocial bond with real-world socializing, and it is highly intoxicating. Fans track shifting loyalties, micro-expressions, and betrayals with the exact same analytical fervor as a high-stakes sports draft. We are dissecting human behavior in real time.
Chapter 2. Game Theory and Attachment.
We really have to look at the strategic mechanics of this environment through a clinical lens, because beneath that televised search for true love, there's a highly calculated strategy at play. As journalist Nietzsche Hodgson so bluntly but accurately put it, the show is essentially chess with tits. It's the quintessential prisoner's dilemma, just infused with heightened hormones and the looming temptation of a 50,000-pound prize. Think about the rules. You have to find a partner to survive the game. But can you trust them not to betray you for someone new, or ultimately for the cash? It's a continuous game of trust and defection, played out by people who have literally only known each other for a few days.
And this is exactly where psychological profiling comes into play. The engineered instability of that villa pulls directly on the contestants' core attachment styles. Whether someone naturally leans toward being secure, anxious, preoccupied, or dismissive avoidant, the producers act as the architects of this instability. They deliberately bring in new people specifically chosen to test those established loyalties. So what happens? We watch anxious individuals cling desperately to avoidant partners under extreme stress, and as viewers, we can't look away. We instinctively recognize these push and pull power dynamics because they mirror the very real, often painful mechanics of our own connections outside the villa. Like I said, it is clinical psychology disguised as evening entertainment.
Chapter 3. The Digital Panopticon.
The total cultural dominance of this show isn't just happening on television. It relies entirely on the seamless integration of social media and mobile apps. The producers effectively took a passive audience and turned them into active co-producers. You get to vote, influence the daily narrative, and decide who stays. But empowering the audience like that created a totally unintended consequence. It birthed these highly savvy online communities that practice a concept known as surveillance. Now, we all know surveillance, watching from above, but surveillance literally translates to watching from below. Instead of just producers watching the contestants in a traditional panopticon, the massive hyper-connected fan base pools their resources to monitor the producers themselves. They demand transparency, consistency, and an unmanipulated presentation of reality.
A perfect example of this collective intelligence in action was the 2018 Kissgate incident. When fans suspected a critical scene was edited to show a betrayal that didn't actually happen, they didn't just passively complain online. They mobilized. Operating like literal digital forensics experts, Fans analyzed window reflections, camera angles, and frame-by-frame footage side by side, all to hold the creators accountable for manipulating reality. The audience essentially hacked the constructed narrative. They proved that in the digital age, the watchers are also being watched.
Chapter 4: The Economy of Influence.
Now, to really understand this phenomenon, we have to acknowledge a fundamental truth. Finding true romance in the villa is largely an illusion. The whole motivation for going on the show has evolved dramatically. Walking through those doors is now the ultimate launchpad for a highly lucrative personal brand. Just look at the math. The winning couple splits a £50,000 prize. But breakout stars, they can easily rake in over $100,000 a month in long-term corporate sponsorships. In today's attention economy, going viral through one relatable meme or a memorable one-liner is exponentially more valuable than actually winning the televised competition. The real game doesn't end at the finale. That is exactly when the monetization begins.
Global brands completely understand this, and they actively leverage that unparalleled influence. The show has a proven ability to shift massive commercial weight and literally dictate the consumer behavior of an entire demographic overnight. For years, the broadcast drove immense, unquantifiable sales for ultra-fast fashion brands. But more recently, the economy of influence shifted again. By strategically partnering with eBay to dress the contestants exclusively in pre-loved clothing, the show successfully pushed a broad cultural trend towards sustainable, secondhand fashion. This is huge because it proves the program isn't just reflecting current culture, it's actively manufacturing it. It stands as a profound masterclass in modern integrated marketing, proving that the audience will buy whatever lifestyle the villa is currently selling.
Chapter 5: The Human Cost.
We do have to ground our analysis in the much darker reality of this experiment. The villa remains a psychological pressure cooker, an environment inherently relying on extreme isolation, producer manipulation, and unforgiving public scrutiny. And that architectural design takes a heavy toll. Just consider this staggering statistic. 1 in 4 young people say reality television makes them worry about their own body image. By design, the show continuously normalizes a hyper-narrow, almost superhuman standard of physical beauty. It's an aesthetic that relies heavily on extreme fitness routines, strict diets, and widespread cosmetic modifications. The implicit, unwritten message broadcast to millions of developing minds every night is undeniably seductive, but it is also profoundly toxic.
And the ultimate cost goes way beyond societal body image. As an industry, there was a forced reckoning following the tragic suicides of multiple former contestants as well as the show's original host. These devastating, very real human losses necessitated a complete structural overhaul. It forced the introduction of comprehensive, mandatory duty of care protocols. Today, participating requires rigorous psychological evaluations, mandatory financial management training, and extensive social media support after exiting the villa. This necessary evolution strictly highlights the dangerous, inherent volatility of manufacturing overnight fame, especially when that fame is built directly upon the foundation of engineered human conflict.
So we're left with a provocative, lingering question. Is this explainer just outlining a broadcast that merely reflects our own modern dating habits, our superficiality, and our deep-seated insecurities? Or, by broadcasting these intense, microscopic human interactions, does it actually provide us with the vocabulary and the tools to recognize gaslighting, debate emotional boundaries, and understand ourselves just a little bit better? Let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow we open a different page. Until then, Pratik out.